So I want to show you guys how I was able to profit over 10% on my $33,000 account over the span of 2 months with only 2.5% drawdown. So you're looking at the count right here, 10%, 10.5%, $33,000, almost $34,000. My average monthly profit is 5.31. My drawdown is 2.54. My profit for this week is over 0.5%, and for the month, 1.56. So the month of August is notoriously quiet. There's not a lot of volume going on. A lot of the big banks and institutions are on leave right now, on holiday or on break. And so there's a lot of lack of movement within the markets, which is totally normal and fine. So I'm trying not to force trades. I'm just looking at the opportunities and taking them as they come. But there are less than them in this month. And so it's important to practice patience. All right, so this account, I've done 290 trades so far, which is quite a lot to pull from. And my win percentage is right about 65%. And that's because I'm multi-order trading, which is entering a lot of different trades into the market. This is the Forex market, and I think this is one of the best ways to approach it, is to do multi-order trading, because this market is really difficult to predict. I would say that it's predictable maybe 20 to 30% of the time, and a lot of the other time it seems pretty random because of how many aspects affect it. And so it's really important to give ourselves more chances to make a trade profitable by entering more times into the market, finding the best places to re-enter. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video, basically showing you how I've been able to profit on this account over $3,000 within that span of 2 months. Okay, so let's get into the charts now and show you what I'm using to actually do that. So this is the Comeback Kid Manager EA up here at the top. This is the tool that I'm using and that I actually created myself, and for this reason. So I could have my time back, and so I could actually, stay profitable, and like I've been for the last 2 years, which I've been a full-time trader for the last 2 years. Okay, so the Comeback Kid Manager EA allows you to enter the trades with buttons here, and after you enter the trades, the money management actually takes over your trade, and it will exit your position in profit if it goes against you. So if you enter a trade into the market, and that trade goes against you, and it goes into negative. See if I can find one here that happened. Let's see. Here we go. So we're going to use the US dollar Swiss franc. So you can see it up here at the top. I have order 1 and order 2. So my first order was entered to the market, and the second order was entered. That I actually entered this first trade in the market, looking for a pullback to happen on the downside. I wasn't quite right on that position, and price went down a little bit and then shot back up, and the money management side of the algorithm took over, entered a second position, and it came down and exited for profit. So that's what I'm saying, is that if my first trade doesn't hit profit, the algorithm's able to manage it into a break-even or a small profit as well. So I'm going to go back to my positions on the US dollar and Canadian dollar. So what I'm looking for in price is a lot of movement from one place to another. So from here to here. So without the actually going to take off the indicators. We're going to just show you what I see without the indicators, because the Comeback Kit allows you to see all these indicators right here when you click on them. And I'm looking for price from here to here. And I want to see how price has behaved within that entire move up. How fast was the move? When did it take place? Over how many days? Were there big pullbacks within the move? So from here to here, there was this happening, and then straight up. How big were these pullbacks? Were they substantial? Were they a good portion of the move from the bottom to the top? Yeah, okay. But this move is really quite clean, in my opinion. These small pullbacks are something that shouldn't be ignored within the move, but this overall move was pretty substantial. Let's see now how many pips it was. Okay, so it was just about 100 pips. All right, so pretty good on the upside. So when I see that much price movement happening from one point to the next, I am looking for a potential for a pullback within the trend, or a counter trend trade. And in this case, it was with the trend. This was already moving down at this point. Price made a pullback within the trend, came back down here, and then made a further extension on after that. So now I'm going to bring back into the indicators to kind of show you how I've designed the comeback kid to basically imitate or emulate this idea of price going from here to here. So I found the oscillator indicator, which is actually free. You can find it online, but it's not the best indicator by itself. It's best when used in combination with other indicators like the ones I have right here. So we're using another trend indicator that's showing us the candlesticks in red, showing us that there's a downtrend on the weekly time frame. We're also using the super trend, which is the line up here. And the super trend is a pretty well-known indicator, and this one is showing us the trend on the daily. So we're pulling from higher time frames to give us a better image of where price is potentially heading. Okay, so now since we're talking about our point right from here to here, okay, now the emulation from the oscillator is showing us that we have an extreme condition here and extreme on the selling side, and another extreme condition starting on the buying side. So that means that prices from here to here is in an extreme condition where selling is happening, and there's more potential for price to bounce at this point, and that's what the oscillator is telling us. So from here to this point, that means that prices has pulled back, and there's a potential in this area right here for price to continue on the downside. And what happened here was it was a little early, that this wasn't really an extreme situation, and there was another one here. And if we enter just with the oscillator by itself, and this is again what I was saying, if used just by itself, it could get you into trades a little too early. So what I've done is I've added my special custom ENG indicator, which is a candlestick pattern indicator that shows you 3 different candlestick patterns that it looks for, and it actually gives you an arrow when they take place. So the arrow is showing us that there was a substantial candlestick pattern that took place, and therefore a pretty good place to enter into the market. And what's going on? We also have the oscillator showing us that price is in an extreme situation, and that there is potential for the downside. So instead of entering here and here, we enter right at the latest point, right before the pullback happens, sold the market, and this is a real trade. I took this on my live account. Trade came down. This was on the 6th of August. Came down for a profit of about 17 pips. Okay, so the price was still, it came down, did its pullback here, shot back up, hit that resistance point again, gave us another candlestick pattern entry, came down, pulled out for profit right here. So we're working with trailing stops on both these orders. So the trailing stop right here bounced up, closed out for a profit. Trailing stop went down, price made a recovery, shot back up, actually hit the resistance point again, but since we were running with the trailing stop and it activated, we were able to close out the trade and profit, another 17 pips profit. Okay, so now we're looking at the price going down again, shooting back up and hitting that same resistance area again, and at this point we have an extreme condition with our oscillator, but no candlestick pattern up here. But we were still up at that resistance point, and we got another resistance pattern right here. I decided that even though this didn't meet the criteria of the Comeback Kid Manager EA, I entered on this one manually because I thought that this was a good setup, considering that this was a resistance point that was still being obeyed, and what happened, there was a 32 pip drop, and I was able to close this out on complete autopilot. So which was cool is that I entered the trade manually, just pressing the little sell button right here. And the trade, I could step away, I could go to sleep, and the trade was managed all by itself on complete autopilot. So really quite cool. And so it closed out, and I think in the middle of the night when I was sleeping, and that was great. So I made money while I was sleeping. All right, so we had a push down, came back up. This is our daily pivot line. This is our resistance point, and this is our support line. So the pivot line, or the pivot indicator, which is the one right over here, so that's the indicator that shows us the daily support and resistance zones. So if you like support and resistance, this is a really good indicator for that. So it shows us the support and resistance areas for that day. So we have different ones for each day. And if we have our candlestick pattern showing us and our oscillator all in agreement, and if we have our candlestick pattern around the support resistance areas, that means that we have a pretty good trade setup and something to look for. Okay, so another trade setup happened, and this one was taken on autopilot with the algorithm. So you can see the candle setup here showing us that there was a substantial candle. Our oscillator was in agreement. Price was near the daily pivot level, and boom, another 30 pips. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to talk about here is how I customize the Comeback Kid Manager EA. So I'm not always using the auto trading function within it, although it's really quite good. And I've run back tests, and you can see these on the website through my Discord group as well. I have run back tests on 6 Forex pairs in gold, and they back test for 21 years profitably on each of these pairs. So it's a substantially good auto trade function within the algorithm, looking for some of the best trades. And I'm going to show you a little bit of that before I end this video as well. All right, so the last trade that I'm going to show you is on the US dollars Swiss franc. And this has been just riding up in a big way since pretty much the beginning of the month. And the Swiss franc has just been getting killed for whatever reason, and the US dollar has been finding some strength as well. So in this, you can see the oscillator showing us a lot of extreme trading right here, and it's just overbought kind of type of thing. Now, I've said in my videos before, the Forex market is never really overbought. It can just keep extending in one direction. But what I'm looking for is a substantial amount of price, just like I was showing you on the US dollar CAD, and for the pullbacks that happened within those moves. So if there's a big move, there's likely going to be a pullback. If there's a big move, there's likely going to be some pullback, and we're trying to catch those pullbacks within the trends or also counter trend trading. In this case, this is going to be counter trend trading. So you can see the big move from here to this point. And you might think, oh, this would be a good trade opportunity, right? Because the oscillator is in overbought territory, but or an extreme territory right here. So you could say that could be a good short trade, counter trade position. What happened? It went down a little bit, and then it shot back up, and then it continued its onward upward. So why would I not take this trade right here? The reason why I wouldn't take this is because look at our daily support and resistance zones. It broke past through all of these, and now we're in unknown territory up here. I'm not going to take this trade because it's not in around a substantial support resistance area. I'm going to wait for a support and resistance area to happen, and I'm going to wait to happen either with my candlestick patterns, or I'm going to wait to see what the price looks like around the next zone. So right here, I'm showing a price went up here, and there was this trade or this candle that happened at this moment. Now this one showed a little bit of hesitation, but it wasn't quite good enough for me to take the trade. I want to see kind of some bearish movement or engulfing candle or some kind of pattern around that resistance zone right there. Didn't happen. Continue shooting up. So now I'm going to take off the Kalman indicator here and show you what's taking place. So there's the candlestick pattern. Here's one right here that took place, and this looks pretty substantial. But again, we're not really near a support and resistance zone. It's like right in between them. Not good enough for me. I'm not going to take that. I waited it out. Continued up further. And so I started looking at this next resistance point. This next resistance point, I started seeing some action around it. So we have candlestick pattern here. A nice bearish rejection candle here. And another one that followed. So I started seeing these candlesticks in here showing me that there is some resistance up here. And it's not just because of this resistance line up here. Price is reacting to this level by showing me certain candlestick patterns within the market. So because of that, I took the trade, and it went down a little bit and then went back up hit the next zone, and this one was an auto trade up here at the top. But you can see that this one was actually showing some resistance as well, candlestick patterns showing us that there was this candle here, which is basically like a doji cut type of candle with the flag underneath, the flag above, and a body right in the middle. And you have a bearish candle here showing us as well that there is some action going on up here. And the auto trade was taken just because we were near this resistance point. And I left the auto trade on because I already knew that this price action within here was already so overdone on the US dollar Swiss franc. And so entering where I did, I was thinking, okay, already so much price has happened from here to here that there's gonna be likely a pullback happening pretty soon. So that's why I entered here and let the auto trade manage the position just in case my first trade went against me. It did, and it came out into profit here. Okay, so the last portion of this video, I'm going to show you guys a little bit of what the auto trading looks like within the Comeback Kid Manager EA, and show you what some of the trades look like. So we're looking for all of our trend indicators to be in agreement. So we have the trend indicator that's showing us the red candles. Then we have the super trend up here that's showing us, and these are being pulled from higher time frames. And then the auto trading is happening where it's looking for the oscillator to be in agreement with the candlestick pattern, and then we enter trades. So these trades are all done on autopilot, and that's up to you if you want to use it or not. But I'm also showing you how to customize the Comeback Kid Manager to get even better entries based on what's happening within the candlesticks, what's happening within price, and the volatility within the movements that are taking place. So here is the oscillator, here's the candlestick pattern, entry, and a second entry, close route for profit right here. Bam, done. Okay, so second entry, oscillator in agreement, downtrend happening, candlestick pattern, entry, exit, profit. Okay, next entry right here, oscillator in agreement, entry take place, trailing stop activated, come out into profit. All right, so the last one that I'm going to show you guys is the oscillator in agreement with the trend down, candlestick pattern, profit, activated the trailing stop, come out with profit. Okay? So guys, that's pretty much it of what I wanted to show you. I'm going to be showing you more videos like this. I'm going to also be showing you my tracked account with the $33,000 and how that progresses as that's public. You can view it on my website or through the link below this video. So you can watch my progress updated every 5 minutes, trading like this with the Comeback Kid Manager EA.